Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Canta in Vietnam. I've heard this city pronounced a bunch of different ways, probably depending on where you're located in the world. I think Canta is the most common one that I've heard, so I'm going to go with that. But if it's not pronounced that way, my bad. If it's pronounced differently where you live, my bad. That's just the one I'm going to go with. So, Canta, as you can see, is located here in the Mekong Delta. The Mekong River being one of the most prominent rivers in Asia and definitely the most prominent in Southeast Asia. You can see the big wide delta. So the main river actually that flows through Canta is the Hao River. The Hao River flows through and meets the Mekong in this city here. And since this region is just the city, there's not much else to say in terms of geography, to be honest. It is an inland port city. You can sail up here to the city. There is a dike system that keeps the city from flooding. Flooding used to be a regular problem before that. I assume during like monsoon seasons and maybe even during typhoons. But that's about all that I have for geography, unfortunately, because it's just one big city. There's little islands and the rivers there. That's part of the city, and of course we'll look at those on Google Earth, but not much else to say in terms of geography. I also did not find a lot of history pertaining to just this town. A lot of history having to do with southern Vietnam and the Mekong Delta as a whole, but nothing particularly here. But I will tell you what I did find in history. This area was part of the Khmer Empire for a long time. The Khmer mostly associated with Cambodia up here. But it was occupied by the Vietnamese in the 18th century, and it's been part of Vietnam ever since then. There was, of course, a lot of fighting during what in America we call the Vietnam War. In Vietnam they call it the American War. Of course, being in southern Vietnam, there would have been occupation from the north eventually in the conflict, and lots of battles in the area here. We'll look at some remnants of that on Google Earth in a minute. But that's pretty much all that I found in details of history. The only little fact that I found was about and I'm probably going to mispronounce this, the Hua Hao, which is a sect of Buddhism, which was, from what I can tell, and I don't want to get too into detail because I don't want to be inaccurate, because I don't really know much about this group. But from what I could tell in research, they were fairly prosecuted and mistreated by the French when the French were in control of Vietnam, colonized Vietnam, and were then thusly mistreated by the Japanese when they occupied during World War II, and the southern Vietnamese government, and then the northern Vietnamese government as it took over, so on and so forth. They've claimed a lot of mistreatment during that time, and during the time of French colonization, they became more militant and would fight back and would do so to the Japanese, so on and so forth. There's a large population here, but it's not really their headquarters, so I didn't dive deep into the history of it. I just thought that was an interesting little fact that most of those people practice in the south here, and many of them live here. But that's pretty much all that I got for you. It was hard to research them because if you change one character over one letter, you get the word for beauty pageant in Vietnamese. So researching them, I had to scroll through lots of stuff about beauty pageants to find anything about them, which is why I'm not terribly confident in describing them. So, with that being said, sorry for such a short history. I really tried, but when it's just one tiny little area, it's a little difficult to find a ton of information, unless it's like, Ho Chi Minh City, which is just skip and jump away down here. But anyway, that is all I have for you for history. We're going to hop over to the tablet. I didn't find a lot of things to show you guys, but the things I did find are really neat. So let's go over to the tablet and check out Kanta on Google Earth. Here we are in Kanta. But let's of course start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. It's the lush green Mekong Delta. Ho Chi Minh City, not too terribly far off. Here's Vietnam. Very easy to find on the map because you have to look for this big old lump of Southeast Asia here. And it's just along the coast. Very easy to spot on the map. You can see there's Cambodia and Laos bordering it. Thailand's not too far off. Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and Brunei aren't too terribly far off. There's Hainan, part of China, the Philippines, so on and so forth. And here is Kanta. I didn't say this in the beginning, the largest city in the Mekong Delta. If you don't count, I guess, Ho Chi Minh City. I guess it's technically not. Yeah, not technically not in the Delta, is it? The largest that's actually on the Delta. You can see the How River here. And down here, I believe this is the Kanta River, right there. Over here is like what pops up anytime I try to research the city, and that is its floating market. You can see little boats and things there on the river. The floating market. Big tradition here in Vietnam and other parts of Southeast Asia, where you get up early in the morning, get on a boat, and you can buy all kinds of goodies, mostly food, but fresh vegetables and such. Looks like the actual store here. You can buy some knickknacks. And this is the non-floating market over here. See the big city over there. You can get all kinds of stuff. Get some yummy soup. Maybe some pho, I'm not sure. And yeah, this is pretty typical. Some of it's selling hot food. Some it's just selling fruits and veggies. Maybe some plants and flowers, things like that. Little snacks, stuff like that. Let's see what's marsh flottant. Yeah, look, she's cooking up some stuff in her boat there. It looks pretty good, actually. Looks pretty good. Yum, yum. Yeah, just sail around and shop. Pretty cool. Alright. Over here, I believe, are some museums to show you. Gotta make sure that they pop up. You know what? I forgot to turn on the hotspot to make sure that my internet works. Hopefully it works. So here's the main museum. It has more than 5,000 objects and historical relics. Let's take a look. This big old fancy building with these big old columns looks very like Greek inspired, neoclassical or whatever. Yeah, it's a big old, looks like a bed or a boat. Not sure. Looks very comfortable. Lots of cool shrines, little tableaus of what once was historical costumes. All kinds of goodies. A guillotine? I mean, it was part of France once upon a time, wasn't it? Big old guillotine. A little ominous. Something's happening here. Looks like maybe she's getting fingerprinted or something. Looks like he's weighing something there. Maybe she's selling some gold or something. Some big old bombs. Some Buddhist priests there. Look, this looks very old. Looks like little cups, maybe. Piece of an airplane. Definitely lots of relics from the war, isn't there? There's also this museum over here. Military museum. It's very imposing. See big cannons outside. Big old rockets. And big old pew-pews there. And tanks. Goodness. Fighter jets. All kinds of relics. Some statues. Lots of leftovers. Some boats even. Goodness. They got all kinds of stuff. Look at all the tanks. And they got all kinds of relics from, I guess, the war. Old cars. Yeah, that's definitely Vietnam War times. Some of this looks a little older. Some of it looks a little newer. See, this looks really old. Maybe it crashed or something. That's why it's all beat up. There's also this museum over here. Historic prison. With, mannequins showing what life was like in this prison. And it looks like it was an old temple, isn't it? I assume, I didn't read about this prison, but I can assume based on what I know about Vietnamese history that this was probably a French prison that would imprison people who were protesting the French occupation, and I bet you anything it was taken over by the Japanese during Japanese occupation, so on and so forth. I wonder if it was used during the war as well. If I knew some Vietnamese, I could read some of this for you, but I don't know any Vietnamese, to be honest. But yeah, that's my best guess. At least I could be completely wrong, but most sites like that I've read about in Vietnam were started by the French. The other important site, if I can find, actually it's right here. That was easy. Easy peasy. Like every website mentions this house. And so you can see it's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. Definitely built during the French colonial times. But it has all kinds of antiquities inside from very, very long ago, and some from a bit more recent 19th and 20th centuries, but mostly a lot of very old relics and things. Just a big old hodgepodge collection. Fancy sink. Like the little space for your soaps. Very fancy. Yeah, it's just a really beautiful house. Look how pretty. Little courtyard area. Beautiful potted plants. And gorgeous ceiling there. Some autographs and notes. Yeah. Very cool place. A neat pond. All kinds of porcelain, I believe. Really beautiful. This would be a fun place to explore, wouldn't it? And that was pretty much all that I wanted to show you. So let's scope around and see if we can find anything else that's fun. I told you there were islands. These islands are part of the city here. It's a little resort area by the looks of it over here. And lots of farming as well, we can imagine. It's lots of rice. Rice grows really well in environments like this that are all wet. Looks like maybe some aquaculture, some maybe shrimp farming. I'm not sure. Also, I thought it was neat. Let me find a good spot. Like right here, how hodgepodgey this city looks from above. It's not neat or orderly at all. And that's kind of neat, isn't it? It looks like it's very just like smushed together. Like someone took all the buildings and just went like squished them together. Big main road there. Very big big roads here, isn't there? Let's see what else we can find. It's definitely the airport. And there's this big old, like, lake systems here. I wonder if they're, because they look a bit artificial, don't they? Especially this one. I wonder if it's like maybe some sort of overflow, because this looks like a dam here, doesn't it? So maybe when the waters are very high, they can release water in here. I'm not sure, but it looks neat either way. Look at this guitar. Do you see it? There's a big guitar here. What's happening out here? Fancy little park. Statues and things. What's happening here? Big party, big concert. Looks like with like maybe fireworks from all the smoke there. Maybe pyrotechnics. Very cool. Yeah, there's a big old guitar in this park. It's pretty cool. Looks like a campus there. Let's see what else we can find. That's really cool. Let's see. I don't even know where to look. How about, let's find some stuff over here. Surely we can find a little slideshow or two to be good. Let's see. It's all a bunch of shops and things. Let's look at this. Oh, pretty little lilies there. Lotuses, actually, is what I meant to say, not lilies. What's happening here? It looks like some kind of melon configuration. I'm not sure. And let's see. I don't know what else we can find that's not going to be like a supermarket or something. I guess we can just look at the main slideshow here so you can see the big buildings there along the river. Look how pretty. That's a lovely picture, isn't it? All lit up here, maybe for Tet. There's the floating market. Beautiful neon lights. Nightlife here along the river. I bet you there's some good night markets here as well. Looks like one right there, doesn't it? Big busy street there. There's the bridge going to the island there. It just looks like a very typical bustling Vietnamese city, doesn't it? Look at all the cool boats there. All sorts. And the floating market. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find any other cool stuff to show you. Let me put the borders back up just in case. Sounds like one of my cats came in the office too. Probably looking for trouble. Just to make sure that there isn't anything that I missed to show you, because we got this island. We didn't really look over here, did we? No, we kind of did. Let's look over here real quick. I don't know. Who knows what we'll find. We're going to look at... Why don't we look at the bridge? Where'd it go? Wait, this bridge. Duh. Do you think it has a slideshow? No. It looked really pretty in the pictures. Maybe these bridges have slideshows. This bridge looks nice too. But there's no slideshows. Okay. Well, I thought we'd poke around and find some new things to see, but I don't think so. This little tree-lined way. What do you think this is? Oh, look at this big roundabout. Ooh, we'll look at that in a second. What do you think this is? It's the People's Committee. That's not exciting. Let's look at this. We're not going to look at an office building or whatever. Let's end it here at this big roundabout. thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. I'm going to do something different at the end of my videos. I'm going to give you a little hint about what's coming next and give you a question that you have to answer. And whoever gets it first, I'm going to pin that comment. So good luck. The next place we are going had two famous battles. The country, oh goodness, these are sideways. And we'll be going to Turkey. Can you guess what those two famous battles are? There are actually three battles there, but there are two that were very, very famous in history. Can you guess what those battles were? Let me know in the comments. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. If you're still awake right now, hit that thumbs up. Thank you. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational, and I hope